Harley-Davidson LiveWire. Harley-Davidson's electric motorcycle venture, LiveWire, seems to be spiraling into an expensive pit of disappointment. The problem? Price, of course. When the brand dropped LiveWire at a staggering $30,000, it missed the memo. Millennials and Gen Z are not living the cushy, carefree lifestyle of yesteryear's motorcycle buyers. Instead, we're staring down inflation, student loans, and the rising cost of, well, everything. And guess what? Motorcycles are not at the top of our priority list. To be fair, the LiveWire was fun to ride when it debuted. Smooth engineering, decent power, and good handling. But once you slap a jaw-dropping price tag on it, the bike started to feel more like a rich person's toy than something for the modern, financially strapped rider. Harley tried to fix things by rebranding and slicing the company in two, but it's like trying to save a sinking ship with a tiny life raft. The latest news? LiveWire has been bleeding money, with losses hitting $29 million in Q1 alone. In 2023, they sold a grand total of 660 bikes. Ouch. That's a long way from saving a legendary brand. And yet, Harley's still churning out bikes that look almost identical to their gas-powered cousins. If your target market is tired of the old-school Harley vibe, maybe stop making the bike look like, well, more Harleys. So, what's next? Unless Harley pulls an epic pivot, it might be time for the brand to rethink this electric dream. Or at least wake up to the reality that the world and its wallets have changed. If they don't, they'll be riding straight into oblivion. Harley-Davidson Street 750. Harley-Davidson's quest to woo younger riders with the 750 turned out to be a costly misstep in the brand's history. On paper, these bikes seem like a solid plan, affordable, lightweight, and geared towards city riders who weren't quite ready for a heavyweight cruiser. But in reality, the Street Series crashed harder than a novice rider trying to navigate their first U-turn. Let's talk about the Street 750. With a reasonable price of $8,499, this bike had potential. It featured a 749cc liquid-cooled engine, a low seat height, and was easy to ride. Everything that should have made it a hit, right? Well, not quite. The build quality was, let's just say, disappointing. Riders quickly noted the rattling parts, misaligned panels, and budget finishes. When compared to Harley's iconic rock-solid cruisers, the Street 750 felt like a toy bike you'd find at a garage sale. Then there's the styling. Harley tried to modernize it, stripping it down to appeal to younger riders, but instead it came off as bland and uninspiring. Traditional Harley fans thought it was too plain, and the younger crowd? They weren't exactly lining up for it either. To make matters worse, the Street 750 had stiff competition. Honda and Yamaha were already dominating the entry-level market, with bikes like the Rebel 500 and Bolt. Better performance, better quality, and cheaper prices. And if the poor design and competition weren't enough, dealer support was a mess. Inconsistent availability of parts and accessories meant that even if you wanted one, finding what you needed was a headache. Hey, before we continue, take a moment and subscribe to our channel. By subscribing, you will never miss our newest videos exploring the machines that fuel our passion for the open road. So, just hit that subscribe button and join our growing community of riders today. Harley-Davidson FXDR 114. Harley-Davidson has had its fair share of game-changing bikes, but sometimes they take a shot in the dark, and the FXDR 114 was a classic example of a gamble that didn't pay off. This high-performance muscle cruiser was supposed to be a bold step forward for Harley, combining futuristic styling with raw power. Powered by the Milwaukee 8 114 engine, it boasted 119 pound-feet of torque and was built with a drag race-inspired design. But here's the kicker, nobody wanted it. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, price. Starting at a hefty $21,999, the FXDR was supposed to deliver the whole package: power, comfort, and versatility. Instead, it ended up being more of a showpiece than a practical ride. First off, that aggressive low-slung riding position with forward foot controls and a flat drag-style handlebar? It looked great parked, but after a few hours on the road, riders were feeling it in their back, neck, and wrists. Comfort? Not so much. But wait, it gets worse. Or worse depending on your point of view. The FXDR, with its massive 240mm rear tire, was built for straight-line speed, but handling on twisty roads? Not so much. It was a tank in corners, making it less than ideal for daily commutes or scenic rides. And the competition? At that price point, riders could grab an Indian Scout Bobber, Yamaha VMAX, or even Harley's own Lowrider S, all of which offered better handling and comfort without the gimmicky muscle cruiser look. As a result, the FXDR became the forgotten child of Harley's lineup, with dealers slashing prices just to offload them. The FXDR had the looks and power, but it missed the mark where it counted: real-world performance. Harley-Davidson V-Rod. So, the Harley-Davidson V-Rod. A bike that wanted to break the mold, but ended up stuck in a very awkward in-between phase. It had the power, the performance, and the cutting-edge design. So, what went wrong? Well, it's simple. It didn't quite fit in with Harley's legacy, and it wasn't enough of a leap for sport bike enthusiasts either. First off, the V-Rod wasn't your typical Harley. It featured a liquid-cooled 60-degree Revolution V-twin engine co-developed with Porsche, pushing out 120 horsepower and 84 pound-feet of torque. This bike was fast, 0 to 60 in just over 3.5 seconds. That's a lot of performance for a company known for slow-revving, torque-heavy air-cooled bikes. But here's the rub. It didn't sound or feel like a Harley. That high-revving engine just didn't deliver the classic rumbling Harley growl that fans expect. So, it was a bit of a heartbreak for die-hard Harley lovers who wanted that iconic sound and feel. But wait, it wasn't exactly winning over the sport bike crowd either. The V-Rod was heavier than what those riders were used to, and with fewer customization options, it didn't have the same build-your-own spirit that Harley fans love. Plus, the tiny 3.7-gallon fuel tank meant frequent pit stops, making it a tough choice for long-haul riders who wanted something more touring-friendly. The competition didn't help either. For nearly $17,000, you could get a lighter, more agile bike from Ducati, Yamaha, or Indian. So while the V-Rod was fast, it didn't exactly deliver in comfort or overall rideability. After 15 years of trying to make the V-Rod work, Harley finally pulled the plug in 2017. But dealers are still stuck with them, slashing prices just to clear out their stock. Harley-Davidson Street Rod. Harley-Davidson Street Rod was meant to be an improvement over the rather lackluster Street 750, but unfortunately it fell flat in a number of ways. Sure, Harley made some efforts to address the Street 750's weaknesses: better brakes, more power, improved fit and finish. But when you're talking about a bike that costs $8,699, those fixes barely scratch the surface. The Street Rod doesn't just fail to impress, it's awkward to ride. For starters, the ergonomics are all sorts of uncomfortable. The foot pegs are high, great for cornering clearance, not so great for your knees. And the seat? Low, which means if you're a rider with longer legs, you'll be feeling like you're sitting on a makeshift chair with your knees higher than your hips. To make things even more fun, the fuel tank is oddly shaped with sharp edges that dig into your knees instead of giving you something comfortable to grip. Add a stiff suspension to the mix, and you've got a bike that sends jolts through your body on every bump. If you're hoping to push the Street Rod past a slow pace, you might want to think again. It's not confidence-inspiring when it comes to handling, and that's a real deal breaker when you're out on the road. Now, you might be thinking, it's an international bike, right? Well, yes, but who exactly is this bike made for? It's not tailored for anyone in particular, too uncomfortable for US riders, and not nimble enough for the sport bike crowd. And when you look at its competitors like the Yamaha FZ-07 or Suzuki SV650, it's clear that they deliver more power and a more enjoyable riding experience, all at a lower price. Harley-Davidson Pan America. Harley-Davidson's Pan America was their big play to break into the adventure touring scene, and on paper it looked like a dream. A 1250cc V-twin engine, 150 horsepower, long travel suspension, and a tech-packed suite of features. Sounds like a ticket to the top of the adventure bike world, right? Throw in some jaw-dropping promo shots of the bike in remote, rugged locations, and you'd think Harley had cracked the code. But no. Despite all the hype, the Pan America has struggled to capture the attention of adventure touring enthusiasts. It's kind of like showing up to a fancy dinner in a tuxedo, only to realize you're at a barbecue. Here's the kicker. At $17,699 for the base model, it's overpriced for what it delivers. Sure, it has some great specs, but it's up against heavy hitters like the BMW GS and Suzuki V-Strom, both of which offer better performance, more refined technology, and, let's be honest, better bang for your buck. Harley entered a competitive market, but unfortunately, they just missed the mark. The adventure touring market is all about reliability, versatility, and value. So when you drop a bike that's not quite there in terms of refinement and performance at such a steep price, well, you're not exactly going to win over many seasoned riders. Dealerships are still sitting on unsold stock, slashing prices just to clear inventory. Harley's attempt at adventure tourer glory has been a tough ride. Looks like they'll have to recalibrate their compass if they want to break into this market for real. Maybe next time they should focus on being more ready for anything than just looking the part. Harley-Davidson Dyna Switchback. The Harley-Davidson Switchback FLD is a unique hybrid, straddling the line between a cruiser and a touring bike. While it's loved for its versatility and classic Harley style, it does have a few quirks that riders should be aware of. Here's a rundown of some of the most common issues, with a sprinkle of humor to make it easier to digest. First up, excessive vibration. Because who doesn't love a little too much buzz? Riders often feel it around 2700 RPM, which only gets worse as you climb. If you find yourself shaking like a maraca, consider replacing or realigning the front motor mounts or swapping out the exhaust system. Trust me, your body will thank you. Then there's the saddlebag situation. Quick release saddlebags sound like a dream until they detach mid-ride. The solution? Make sure you hear that satisfying click when locking them in. Pro tip, zip ties can add extra security if you're feeling paranoid. As for handling, the Switchback's Dyna platform has a unique construction that gives it a little wiggle room. While that's great for flexibility, it also means the bike's more sensitive to vibrations. Want smoother handling? Consider installing aftermarket stabilizers and keeping your bike regularly maintained. For comfort on long rides, the Switchback falls short of its full touring cousins like the Road King. But fear not, a cushy seat and suspension upgrade can help ease those long-haul vibes. And of course, engine performance could use a little TLC. Issues with flywheel alignment can cause excess vibration. Check with a pro mechanic if your engine's misbehaving. Despite its flaws, the Switchback still offers a solid mix of cruiser and touring features, making it a worthy option if you're up for a little maintenance adventure. Harley-Davidson Sportster 883 Iron. The Harley-Davidson Sportster Iron 883, don't let its iron name fool you. This bike is a bit of a mixed bag. On one hand, it's got that classic Harley swagger, with a thumping air-cooled V-twin engine, pushing out 49 horsepower and a decent 54 pound-feet of torque. That's not much power for its weight, 565 pounds, but hey, it's still a real Harley. You get the iconic low-end torque, a 5-speed gearbox, and an exhaust note that makes your heart skip a beat. Now, here's the thing, vibrations. Oh boy, the Iron 883 shakes like a maraca at idle, and even when you're cruising at low speeds, the handlebars, seat, and foot pegs are all buzzing like a bee convention. While some folks might find it part of the Harley charm, crank up the speed and it gets downright uncomfortable. Want to cruise for hours on end? Forget it. The Iron 883 struggles at highway speeds, with a top speed that might hit 100 miles per hour, but don't expect to enjoy the ride. You'll be battling vibrations and wind blasts like a gladiator in an arena. Also, the suspension, a joke. It's got the kind of travel that'll leave you wondering why you didn't just rent a luxury car. That stiff front fork, not doing you any favors. On the bright side, this bike is endlessly customizable, and that's where it shines. Want to make it truly yours? Harley's aftermarket catalog is overflowing with parts, and the independent market is a playground for creative minds. But be warned, that lovely V-twin engine? It's a heat factory, especially in town. You might start to feel like a rotisserie chicken on those hot days. Harley-Davidson Fat Bob 107. Harley-Davidson's Fat Bob 107's engine is a beast in the motorcycle world. Introduced in 2017, it powers heavyweights like the Grand American Touring and Harley Trikes, and it's loved for its smooth torque delivery and thrilling acceleration. But let's face it, no engine is perfect, and this powerhouse does have a few mechanical hiccups to its name. If you're a Harley fan, you might want to know the common problems that can make your dream ride feel like a nightmare. One of the most infamous issues? Oil sumping. That's when oil backs up into the crankcase instead of returning to the tank. If you've got a 2017 to 2019 Harley with a Milwaukee 8 engine, smoke puffing out of your exhaust could be a sign that this problem is lurking. It can cause performance issues, engine overheating, and quite frankly, a lot of frustration. The fix? A new oil pump, but don't be surprised if you're out $300 to $700. Then there's the gear oil issue. Low oil in the transmission? Say goodbye to smooth gear shifts and hello to grinding noises. Your engine will be in trouble too. Regular checks and maintenance can save your ride from becoming a noisy, clunky mess. Cold starts can also leave you stranded, especially if the temperature dips below 10 degrees Celsius. The issue might be a weak battery or incompatible engine oil, but either way, it's a hassle you don't want to deal with on a chilly morning. But hey, not everything's doom and gloom. The Milwaukee 8's power output, smooth ride, and soul-satisfying exhaust note still make it a fan favorite. Just make sure you stay on top of those pesky maintenance issues to keep your engine roaring for years to come. Harley-Davidson Street Glide ST. So, the Harley-Davidson Street Glide, the sleek, iconic beast of the open road. It's the motorcycle that makes you feel like a rock star while cruising down highways. But, like any great machine, even the Street Glide has a few quirks that may throw you off your game. Let's dive into some common issues and how to tackle them with a little flair and know-how. First up, engine overheating. This one's a classic. In hot weather, your air-cooled engine can get a little cranky. The solution? Upgrade that oil cooler for better heat dissipation. Oh, and make the switch to synthetic oil to keep things chill, literally. And remember, no need to idle in traffic like you're waiting for a green light. The air needs to keep flowing. Next, the stock suspension. It's a stiff one, right? If you feel like you're riding on a marble slab, it's time to soften the blow. Try upgrading to air-ride suspension or just tweak the stock settings for a smoother ride. Then there's wind buffeting. Picture this, you're cruising at high speeds, but the wind has a personal vendetta against you, tossing your helmet around like it's a football. Upgrade your windshield to something taller and flared. Trust us, your neck will thank you later. Lastly, electrical hiccups. From battery drain to infotainment system freezes, the Street Glide's tech can be temperamental. Keep your wiring tight, update your software, and use a battery tender if you're not riding for a while. With these tips in your pocket, your Street Glide will be gliding smoothly again, and you can focus on enjoying the ride. Keep your bike in tip-top shape, and it'll keep you on the road for many adventures to come. Harley-Davidson CVO Street Glide. Well, Harley fans, we've got another recall situation on our hands, and it's not looking great for the 2023 CVO Street Glide. The iconic bike has been recalled for a second time in less than 2 months. Yes, you heard that right. Apparently, these bikes are a bit too fast and furious, particularly at speeds over 100 miles per hour, where they're prone to some unwanted instability. The culprit? An overly sensitive engine control module that, when combined with the bike's front-end design, just doesn't hold up when you're cruising at high speeds. Now, before you freak out, Harley's not asking you to send it to the scrapyard. They've got a fix lined up. Dealers will recalibrate the ECM, add a ballast and strap, all for free. Sweet deal, right? But here's the kicker. This affects 1,464 bikes produced between May 10th and October 6th of 2023. If you're one of the lucky owners, check your bike's VIN because you'll want to get this sorted ASAP. Now, you might be thinking, I don't need to do anything until I get a letter from Harley. Wrong. If you're one of the owners, don't wait around for the official mail. Head to your dealer now to get the issue fixed before you find yourself really testing that high-speed stability. Harley's making sure to fix this before it gets ugly, but it's on you to get it sorted. Oh, and if you were hoping to get some cash back for any pre-recall issues, tough luck. Harley's sticking to the warranty. But if you've got a beastly 121 Ci V-twin engine and find yourself pushing that 100 mph mark on the highway, don't say we didn't warn you. If you enjoyed this video, join our growing community of riders, adventurers, and enthusiasts. Just hit that subscribe button and tap the bell so you never miss our fresh content. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.